children, how are you? I hope you all are doing well. So children, as I said, science is a mixture of everything. It tells us about anything and everything that happens around us, and why it happens is the explanation that we get through science and the information that we get through science. So children, now we have spoken about plants, we have spoken about animals, about our body, about various systems in our body. Okay, it's time that we should know how to safeguard ourselves. So let's talk about safety and first aid in this chapter. Okay, safety. What do you mean by safety? Safety means to stay away from danger or accidents. Okay, to be careful. That is what safety means. Alright, so let's learn about road signs. Let's learn about common emergencies in daily life, importance of first aid, and how to make a first aid box. Okay, so children, as we know, accidents can happen when we are not being careful. Okay, the injuries may be from road, it can happen on the road. Accidents through road accidents, through fire, through shock, through animal bites, or any other reason. Okay, so most accidents, they take place either on road or at home or due to some type of a fire. So we need to be very careful. If we are careful, nothing would go wrong, isn't it? So when we are being careful, when we are being cautious and taking good care of following all the safety rules, we are always safe and no harm can come towards us. Okay, so we should also follow the safety rules to avoid the accidents. Safety on the road is important because of the rapid increase in the number of vehicles. There are so many vehicles now on the road, so it is important to be safe. Okay, so we must follow the road signals, okay, or the road signs, as they are meant for our safety. And these are certain road signs that you can communicate with your parents also. You can tell them also about these signs and tell them to follow the safety rules, because when you are commuting with them, it is very important that they are also safe and you are also safe. Okay, so now you have to memorize these road signs. Okay, the first one is of no entry. That means you cannot go into that lane. Okay, there is no entry over there. No pedestrians. That means people cannot walk there. Okay, they can only move in a vehicle. They cannot walk. No pedestrians are allowed. No honking. It is a silent zone. You should not honk, because this sign you will generally see near the school or near the hospitals where the patients are taking rest or children are studying. So no honking, no left turn. There are certain areas which are one way, certain lanes which are one way. So you cannot enter that lane from a wrong side. Similarly, no right turn also means the same thing. Either a person can, there are vehicles coming from the left, okay, that is why you can only go on the right, okay, or there are vehicles coming from the right, and that's why only you can go on the left. You cannot turn right in those lanes. Okay, no U-turn. There are certain places where there is traffic coming and going from both sides, and you cannot take a U-turn in between. Okay, then there is the sign of speed breaker. Speed breaker is a barrier which stops, which reduces the speed of the vehicle. Okay, we must always follow safety rules on the road and at home. However, sometimes accidents can happen in spite of us being careful. Okay, there are ways to deal with such emergency. First aid is the first medical help given to an injured person before a doctor arrives. So this is the first help that we can give to a person who is injured before the doctor arrives. Okay, before giving first aid, we should wash our hands. We should also stay calm. So if you are calm, if you do not panic, you will be able to help the person who is already a bit shaken up because of the injury. Okay, now for cuts and scratches, what's the first aid you can give for cuts and scratches? Germs can enter a body through uncovered cuts or wounds and cause infection. So, we should not neglect any wound, cut or scratch. You must wash the wound with water. Clean the affected area with cotton wool soaked in antiseptic lotion such as Savlon or Dettol. Then, if there is a lot of bleeding, apply ice on the affected area. Cover the wound with a bandage. And if the bleeding does not stop, then you must get a tight bandage called tourniquet, okay, which can be used. If the wound is not kept clean, it gets infected, okay. It becomes red and pus starts coming. When the cut is by a rusted object or a dirty object, germs may enter and can cause tetanus, okay. We should have anti-tetanus injection after consulting a doctor, okay. Now, for nose bleeding, what should you do? Okay, sometimes blood comes from our nose, okay. I hope that you followed all these things when you have cuts and scratches, okay. You have to ensure that you cover that area, because germs may sit on that and the infection can spread, okay. Wash your wound, clean it with, after you wash it, clean it with an antiseptic lotion like Dettol and or Savlon, okay. Then how do you clean them? With cotton, okay. Clean them with cotton, okay, or a soft, any soft material, like mostly we use a cotton gauze here. Now, if there is a lot of bleeding, if the bleeding continues, okay, you have to apply ice on that area, then cover it with the bandage. So, if the wound is there, you can always put some antiseptic cream over there and add some powder there or an antiseptic lotion, and then you can cover it, okay. Now, if the bleeding does not stop, then there is a tight bandage which is called a tourniquet, okay. Then keep the wound clean, always keep the wound clean and change the bandage every day, okay. If it gets infected, it becomes red, okay, pus starts coming, okay. Then when the cut is of a rusted object, suppose it is of an object which is already rusted like an iron nail or something like that, okay, germs can enter, okay, and it can cause tetanus, and that's the reason why you must go to the doctor to get an anti-tetanus injection, okay. Now, if you have nose bleeding, if blood starts coming from your nose, okay, you have to keep the patient in an upright and comfortable position with the head held back, okay. So, the head has to be held back so that the nose does not bleed, okay. Keep ice pack or wet cloth on the nose and head of the patient. Ask the patient to breathe through mouth, okay. For sprain, okay, sometimes joints such as ankle or wrist can get twisted, resulting in a sprain. The joint swell up and is very painful. So, a sprained joint should not be moved before it is healed. So, for that you have to apply ice pack, okay, on the injured joint till the swelling subsides, and then an elastic bandage can be wrapped around the joint. Ointment such as Iodex, Volini or Relaxil can be lightly applied so that the pain goes off and the swelling also reduces, okay. Now, in case of fracture, when the bone is broken, what do you do? When a person falls or gets hurt, a bone may be broken or fractured. There are chances. To find out whether a bone has been broken or not, the patient will have pain while moving a hand or leg even 10 to 15 minutes after the injury. So, the pain will be a persistent pain, okay. So, in that case, do not move that part of the body. If a bone of hand is broken, make a sling, okay, from a triangular piece of cloth, and place your hand or arm inside that sling. This sling, it will give you support to the arm and it will prevent its movement. Then apply a splint to give support to the broken bone, okay. Sheets of paper, newspaper, a piece of cardboard or a pillow around the injured bone can also act as a splint, okay. Do not forget to go to the doctor for this also, okay. They will get your x-ray done and they will get your plaster done over there, so that that's the next step. but whatever we've discussed here is a step of your first aid. Okay, before you go to the doctor, this is what you can do. Okay, make a splint. Okay, give a support. Okay, keep something like a cardboard or something or a pillow under the arm or the hand so that it gets support and it stays in a firm position. Okay. Now, in case of animal bites, what will you do when an animal bites you? Before going to the doctor, the saliva of the infected dog or cat, it will carry the rabies virus. Okay. So, if it bites, rabies or hydrophobia may be caused. So, wash the wound with soap and water to remove the germs. Then apply an antiseptic lotion to prevent any kind of infection. Bandage the wound with a sterile gauze. Okay, and rush the victim to the doctor. Okay, they will give him injection and then the patient will get cured. All right. Now, for snake bite, if a snake bites, okay, a poisonous snake injects poison with its fangs, causing a lot of pain and swelling. Okay, apply a tourniquet just above the bite to stop the flow of blood, okay, to the heart. Tourniquet is the tight bandage. Okay, this will help to slow down the speed, the spread of the poison. Okay, because that area will be held tightly, the flow of the poison or the spread of the poison will reduce. Okay. Now, immediately rush the patient to the doctor. It has to be, the poison has to be removed, so the doctor can do it immediately. All right. Now, for poisoning, keep all the medicines, poisonous substances like nail polish, mosquito repellents, paints, naphthalene balls away from the reach of children. Okay. And children, if you see them at home, do not touch them. Okay. Read the label very carefully before buying or taking any medicine. Okay. Check for the expiry date. Do not take any medicine that is already expired. Don't use the medicines which are expired. Take medicines only after consulting a doctor. Do not self-medicate. Okay. If someone has consumed something poisonous, try to make the person vomit. Okay. Immediately rush the person to a doctor. Now, you have to do this activity. You have to make a poster here which would have the numbers of agencies to be contacted during accidents, like the number of the police, the number of ambulance, fire department, etc., or any other emergency like the hospital number, the doctor's number. All these numbers can be put up on the chart and they can be used at home or in your classroom in case of any kind of accident that may happen. Okay. Now, for fire fighting, what would you do? If a person's clothes catch fire, okay, do not allow him to run around in panic. Make him roll on the ground, cover him with a thick blanket. This can put out the fire by cutting off the oxygen supply. Okay. Then, if fire has been caused by defective wiring or an electric gadget, turn off the main switch. Immediately turn off the main switch. Try to extinguish fire by throwing sand, okay, and use a fire extinguisher. Do not throw water on it. As water is a good conductor of electricity, the person can get electrocuted. Okay. So, that is why in case of all these electrical appliances, if they are caught on fire, turn off the main switch first, put sand. Do not pour water, otherwise you may get electrocuted. Okay. Now, if a fire is caused by petrol, put out the petrol by throwing sand on it. Okay. Do not throw water. Petrol being lighter than water will float above water and will keep on burning. Okay. So, you have to put sand. In case of fire in the building, inform the nearest fire station. Write the telephone numbers of your nearest police station, fire station, doctor and chemist in bold letters at the reception of the school. Police station 100, fire station 101 and then ambulance 102. Okay. Now, let's revise. Most of the accidents can be prevented if we are careful. We must obey safety rules on the road and follow road signs. First aid is the first medical help given to the patient or the injured person before the doctor arrives. Okay. A burnt part should be properly washed with cold water and then you can apply Bernol on that. A wound should be properly cleaned and kept clean until it heals. Okay. In case of sprain or fracture, do not move that part. Okay. Snake bites require treatment by doctor because they are poisonous. Alright, now let's do these exercises. Take the correct option. Which one is used to give support to a broken bone and made from triangular piece of cloth? Splint, sprain, sling or tourniquet? It is the sling. The rabies disease is caused by bacteria, fungi, virus or protozoa. It is the virus, the rabies virus. Paints, nail polish and naphthalene balls may contain juice, sugar, salt or poison. Poison. If a fire is caused by electrical gadget, we should use water, petrol, sand or kerosene. Sand. The telephone number of the police station is 100, 101, 102 or 103. It is 100. Okay, now fill in the blanks. Never neglect a wound as germs may cause infection. The rabies virus can be carried by a dog. Okay. Tourniquet is a bandage tied tightly over the wound to stop bleeding. A piece of cardboard or a pillow around an injured bone acts as a splint. A crack in a bone is called a fracture. Okay, now match the column. Used to give support to a broken bone, splint. A tight bandage for stopping the flow of blood from a wound, it is a tourniquet. A crack or break in a bone is known as fracture. Made from a triangular piece of cloth can be used for support is a sling. Okay, true or false? Medicines should be kept out of reach of children. Absolutely true. Okay. A burn should be immediately treated with warm water. No, it should be treated with cold water. Okay. A cut caused by a rusted object causes tetanus. Absolutely true. A petrol fire should be put out by pouring water on it. No. Okay. You should put sand on it. A splint is made from a triangular piece of cloth. No, it's the sling. Okay. Now, name these. Treatment given to an injured person before the doctor arrives is the first aid. A tight bandage that stops bleeding by applying pressure is the tourniquet. A disease which is caused by a dog bite is rabies. A cut by a rusted object may cause tetanus. And a device used to put out fire, okay, you can say fire extinguisher. Alright, now, apply ice pack or splint to give support to a broken bone. It's the splint. A crack or break in a bone is a fracture or sprain. It's a fracture. Treat a burn by washing with cold water or warm water, cold water. Savlon or shampoo is an antiseptic lotion. Okay, what is it? Savlon. Now, short answer questions, you have to explain what is first aid in short. Okay, how will you put out a fire caused by a defective wiring? What should you do? Put sand. Okay, explain this. Now, a person touching an electric wire with wet hands, okay, can get an electric shock which can lead to death. And why? Because, okay, water is a good conductor of electricity. So, you have to explain this in short, okay, but cover up all the points that are important here. Now, name the disease caused by a virus carried by dogs and cats, the rabies, okay, and what would happen if the person gets rabies, okay. What is a tourniquet? The tight bandage. Alright, now explain that in short here. Now, long answer questions. What first aid should be given to the patient with snake bite? Okay, what is it that you should do in case of snake bite? What should be done if there is a fire due to petrol? Can this fire be extinguished by putting water over it? If not, then why? Okay, and how will you help a person who is bleeding profusely from nose? Draw few road safety signs. That is what we did in the beginning of the chapter. Okay, the different road safety signs, draw them. Okay, what first aid should be given in case of minor wound? If there is just a minor wound, what can be done as a first aid? Okay, critical thinking skills. Why water is put out on burning substance to extinguish fire? Okay, because it cools down the substance and it extinguishes the fire. Okay, we should put sand on the fire caused by petrol. Why? Because sand cuts off the supply of air. Okay, that is why. Now, case-based study. Germs can enter our body through uncovered cuts or wounds and cause infection. So, we should not neglect any wound, cut or scratch. Wash the wound with water. Clean the affected area with cotton wool soaked in antiseptic lotion such as Savlon or Dettol. If there is a lot of bleeding, apply ice on the affected area. Cover the wound with the bandage. For nose bleeding, keep the patient upright, okay, in a comfortable position with head held back. Keep ice pack or wet cloth on the nose and head of the patient and ask the patient to breathe through mouth. Okay. A poisonous snake injects poison with its fangs, causing a lot of pain and swelling. Apply a tourniquet just above the bite to stop the flow of blood, okay, to the heart. This will help to slow down the spread of poison. Okay. Immediately rush the patient to a doctor. Okay. Name the antiseptic lotion. Here it is Dettol and Savlon both. Okay. Now, what should we do at the time of nose bleeding? You know the steps here. Okay. Make the patient comfortable, make him sit in an upright position, apply ice pack or wet cloth, okay, on the nose and the head. What is it that you can do in case of snake bite is what you have to explain here and write. Life skills. Here are two pictures. What is happening in these pictures and which picture is accurate is what you have to tell us. Okay. Now, let's do something new. Make a first aid box. You have to make a first aid box. While making it, check the expiry date of all the medicine and put all the necessary things in that box. Okay. You can use an old shoe box and make it as your first aid box. Get or make safety rules, a chart for the class. And take a bowl and place 2 lighted candles in it. In a beaker, take 3 to 4 milliliter of vinegar and put some baking soda on it. You will observe the bubbles. Okay, pour this mixture over the lighted candle. What do you observe? The candle on which the solution is poured is put out due to carbon dioxide and this gas extinguishes fire. Okay, whereas the candle remains lighted. The other one. Okay. Now, explore. When a bee stings, okay, we apply a paste of baking soda on it. Find out why do we do that and what happens when we apply this paste on the wound. Okay. Find out more information about this, but before you do that, reread the chapter and complete all the exercises and the activities in short. Okay. And be safe at all times. All right, children, get going.